Today's show is brought to you by State Farm agent Brian McDevitt. If you're a local small business owner, you know how important it is to be there for your customers. State Farm agent Brian McDevitt runs a small business in Downers Grove, too, and he's here to help you protect your small business. Call Brian today at 630-796-2662. That's 630-796-2662. Or visit his website, ryanismyagent.com. That's ryanismyagent.com. And make sure to mention Sports Talk Chicago. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I want to start today with this. What comes to mind when I say the NBA? 3-pointers, right? Mega teams, superstars, no competition, meaningless regular season, top-heavy conferences, and oh yeah, at the end of the day, the same player is in the NBA Finals. That's a big problem for the NBA right now. See, people are debating back and forth. They still are. Oh, this is all about the protests in China. No. That's not the problem with the NBA. The problem is no one cares anymore. No one tunes in till game one of the finals. And even then, no one cares. Because every year, the same player and the same couple of teams compete. And it gets boring and redundant for a lot of people. There needs to be a change. Something needs to give for the NBA to become what it was. Look, I didn't grow up in the 1990s. I didn't see Michael Jordan, didn't see the 80s, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, but I did see the 2000s. Every single team had a superstar. Everyone. Think about all those teams: Suns, Mavericks, Spurs, Bulls to an extent. Magic, Dwight Howard. Celtics, the list goes on and on here. Not all of those teams would have been finals contenders every year, but they were always good. They played their hearts out. They cared about the regular season. There were no healthy scratches. There wasn't this much money invested in the game either. And they played their butts off day in and day out. There were no 2 off days between each game. That didn't happen. They just played. It was fun. Not the case today. That's a problem. That's why the NBA is losing interest. The NBA has become Harlem Globetrotters basketball. Tell me I'm wrong. No defense, tons of cool trick shots. And at the end of the day, we always know who wins. Always. Globetrotters and Generals, who wins every game? Globetrotters. I'm sick of seeing it, and I'm sure many of you are too. So that's why I've come up with a plan to save the NBA. I've done it. It's a foolproof plan that won't only make the NBA what it was before, it'll make the NBA the greatest sport in North America. This isn't a tease. This isn't a joke. Take some notes here. I'm telling you. This will resurrect the NBA. It'll bring it back. It's a big deal. And I'm so excited to reveal this. So, how can we save the NBA? What's the main problem with the NBA? Competition. See, in the NFL, every week, every team goes out. We don't know who the Super Bowl winner is going to be until the, Super Bowl. In the NBA, game one of the season, we already know who's going to be in the conference finals. So every game doesn't matter. Players know this. Media, fans know it too. And no one ends up caring. It just becomes a huge joke. Not with this plan. Starting next season, the NBA needs a fantasy draft. Let me explain. The NBA today is dominated by superstars. Tell me I'm wrong. More people follow their favorite player than they do the team that he plays on. Teams are starting to mean nothing. Divisions mean nothing already. Does anyone know what division the Bulls are in right now? Or the Lakers or the Suns? No, you don't. Now we only look at conference standings, and sooner rather than later, those will mean nothing. They already have to an extent. Only the top 3 teams even matter. It's a superstar-driven league. If you're not a superstar, you mean nothing. And if you're a team that has a lot of superstars, you're great. If you don't, you're screwed. Look at LeBron James. The Heat became relevant when the Big Three was formed. Today, they mean nothing. Really, they don't. And before, they meant very little. The Lakers. The Lakers were nothing after Kobe Bryant until LeBron said, you know what, I'll go to LA. I'll make a team out there. And then they won the finals. It's a superstar-driven league. So, let's let superstars play on new teams every year. We're going to have a random draft every year, 3-night event, nationally televised for the NBA, big press, big publicity. 15-round draft, 1 player selected per round. Tell me how intriguing that would be. How amazing would that be to watch? 15-round draft on national TV. Each team in their war room. Who should we take? LeBron James or Giannis? Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine? You'd have superstars going in the 9th or 10th round. And that'd be amazing. For ratings, for TV, for revenue. All of it. This happens every year. So at the end of the season, every player goes back into a draft pool. No one stays on a specific team. How intriguing would that be? Talk about insane. Talk about newsworthy. The NFL is newsworthy right now. The Bears are newsworthy right now for maybe getting a quarterback. What if we knew that every year the NBA would have a draft like this? Can you imagine the headlines that would garner? They'd be in the news 24/7. They'd outrank the NFL. Am I wrong? So the draft would be huge. Now, I'm sure many of you are wondering, well, how do you pay the players? The owners will pay their players. They'll pay them their current salary till players retire for the current players. When everybody in the NBA has no contract anymore, when it's a whole new crew of players who come in via the draft, there will be a new pay structure. 50% base salary, 50% incentive-based. That will drive competition. No more healthy scratches. No more, I don't feel like playing today. No more wishes for 3 days off in between games. The real NBA would return by doing something like that. Every team would have 2 superstars, maybe more in some cases. And guess what? The regular season and the playoffs would be relevant again. No more, well, as long as I get in, I'm fine. No. If you're the 1 seed, that means a lot. See how much this changes everything? You'd see different players you've never seen before team up. LaVine and LeBron, possible. Giannis and LeBron, possible. Maybe KD and Russ would come back together. The possibilities here are endless. And the game would once again be competitive. No more LeBron bringing 10 players onto his team and saying, we're going to win a championship this year. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. You better hope your team around you is good. You better hope the team you're drafted to did their homework on the players around you. So no more LeBron being his own GM or his own head coach. Any of that. He just plays. And he plays his heart out every night. And if they win, they win. If they lose, too bad. This is basketball. This is sports. No collusion. No, well, we're friends. I want to play with him. No. Play the game. See what happens. That's one thing I'm so sick of in the NBA. My goodness. I want to play with him. We're friends. I'm going to recruit him. Him, I don't want him. No, you don't make the decision. Who do you think you are? This will make the game competitive and fun again. Real strategy, real coaching, real playing will be back. No more Globetrotters and generals. It will be Bulls versus Cavs. Lakers versus Warriors. Legitimate games with action, with suspense. No healthy scratches. Every single game matters. What do you think? Can't believe no one's proposed this before. And if you like it, guess what? If the NBA does it, other leagues could follow suit. Why not? The NFL's similar. Superstar-driven league. I know a lot of people who just like Odell Beckham. Hate the Browns, love Odell. So they watch him play and follow him. Social media has changed everything for sports. It's superstar-driven now. You follow your favorite guy or girl. You don't sit around necessarily unless you have loyalty and say, I'm rooting for the Bulls today. No. Everyone's a casual fan now who just likes a couple of players. I know someone who just likes LaMelo Ball. That's it. Has no loyalty to the Hornets, doesn't care, doesn't even watch them. They just watch highlights of LaMelo play. So be it. That's the way it works. That's why this plan, I think, will make the NBA the top sport in this country. Top sport around the world. Can you imagine the suspense, the anticipation of each draft night? It would outrank the NFL draft By a huge margin. You know why? These players you know already. You know LeBron James. You know Zaghloul, Giannis, KD, Kyrie. You know these guys. And to sit around every year wondering, where will they go? Who will draft them? That's fun. That's really fun. So I'm just saying, think about it. Comment on the video. Tell me, what do you think? Not a bad idea. This will fix the NBA. Fantasy draft. 15-round draft every year. One player per round, random order. You'll have superstars who've never played with each other before. All of a sudden, what do you know? The NBA becomes competitive again. Now every game matters. Now seedings matter. Playoffs matter. Everything does. No more healthy scratches. No more, I don't feel like playing today. No more LeBron James being his own GM. No, none of it. It's straight up basketball. Can you imagine an NBA draft like this? 3 days, 4 days, 5 days of must-watch TV. The press would be through the roof for the NBA. They'd make a ton of money. They'd be relevant. I'd argue more relevant than the NFL. We're sitting here worried, sick about Russell Wilson to the Bears, Russell Wilson to this team. What if we said the draft is coming up for the NBA? Who drafts LeBron James? Giannis, KD, Zaghloul. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine what that would be like? Every team would have a couple of superstars. Different players would team up. This would be competitive. And at the end of the day, you'd have no clue who'd win the finals. You wouldn't just expect LeBron to be there. You genuinely have no clue who'd make it. The beauty of the NBA before was spread out superstars. No top-heavy teams. Every team had a great player. What happened to that? That's the problem with the NBA today. I'd say there are about 5 or 6 legit contenders, and everybody else has no chance whatsoever. That needs to change. Something has to be done here. No one cares about the NBA the way they did before. There's a reason. I don't believe it's political. I believe there's just no competition. Can you imagine turning on your TV back in the 90s and hearing, oh, yeah, Michael, he isn't playing. Healthy scratch. Those TVs would be turned off immediately. People watched to watch their superstars. Now today it's commonplace. Oh, healthy scratch, he's out. They need 3 days between games. Come on. And then people wonder why no one's watching anymore. What are we going to do? It's pretty apparent to me. And my plan is an easy fix. It brings the NBA relevancy. It pairs up superstars you've never seen. Everything becomes competitive. Real basketball returns to the court. And oh yeah, for 3, 4, 5 days, the NBA will outrate the NFL draft, will outrate any other sport in this country. And by the way, that's just the draft itself. We're not even talking regular season and playoffs and finals. All of those ratings will be through the roof. Because things will be competitive. What do you think? Is this possible? Could this be done? I don't know. Feel like the Players Union would have a couple of issues with what I'm saying. But you have to admit, it'd make the NBA fun again. It'd make it must-watch TV all year. It'd bring in revenue from a business standpoint. I mean, even think about this. Every year, a superstar like LeBron James would be on a different team. So every year, fans would be compelled to buy a new jersey. I mean, even to that extent, this would work. Just a matter of doing it. Just a matter of taking the time to draw this up and formally propose it to everybody. I'm not sure how this will be received, but I know this more than anything. For those of you who complain, rightfully so, about the NBA being non-competitive, about it being unwatchable, about the regular season not mattering, this plan cures all of those burdens, and it makes the NBA must-watch TV, and it makes basketball relevant again. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with Jose Canseco comes up next, so stay tuned. Hey, do you want to make some money this weekend? What if I told you I could offer you $250 free to bet on any game you want? Here's what you have to do. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash, sportstalkchicago.com/cash. You must be 21 plus. You must be an Illinois resident. You could bet $250 free on any game you want for this upcoming weekend. The NBA is back, NHL, college basketball, and March Madness right around the corner. This is, without question, a great time to put down some money and win a whole lot more back. At sportstalkchicago.com/cash, sportstalkchicago.com/cash. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.